Alright, I'll be doing a video right now working on my challenge lock for my blue belt. So I have a Dremel 3000, just going through what I worked on. And then I bought this little kit for like $10 on Amazon. So if you notice, see this guy right here? So it comes with two of these, which is helpful. So if you don't want to invest in the Dremel, I'm sure you could borrow one from a friend or something like that. Hopefully you have that going for you. I already had one, so that was nice. So again, hence my title, I am someone who's involved in safety. So I unplugged this because I'm not going to mess with it unless I'm ready to use it. So I picked this one as my challenge lock, and I picked this one because it's large. If I would have picked, a regular, like let's say, like an 1100, obviously much smaller pins. So these are like the standard size key pins. So it gives me more to mess up, more to work with. Obviously. So anyway, so this is what I'm going to use in my challenge lock, and I'm going to take out obviously everything that's already in here. So that gives me 5. Now I need to have, I want to do just a little bit of everything, and I'm going to wind up editing out a lot of the noise that the treble makes and stuff like that. But I just want to talk through it. So I picked this lock for that reason. I would pick a lock that has like obviously a bigger diameter when it comes to shaping the different things, to give you a little bit of more leeway in case you mess things up. So I'm gonna put this over here. That's just my thoughts on it. So this is like $10. In advance to that is what I did this comes with it, like I told you, 2 of them. So 2 of these come with it. And what I did was, they come with these. This works out perfectly. And what I did was I just hooked this up, and I actually took this wheel broke, so it worked out perfectly. So basically like a lathe, I turned this on and I ran it. And then when I ran it, all I did was just hold this against here and cut off the tip of it. So why did I do that? Because when you use this normally, look, you're gonna not be able to get to a lot of the pin, all right? So because this is the widest diameter one, I made it where when you use this, it kind of sticks out a little bit. You see how it sticks out a little bit? Hopefully you can see that. But basically it sticks out a little bit when I grab the pin, okay? So that means when I go, if I wanted to make my own, American lock or something smaller, I can use one of these smaller diameters and it'll stick out like even more when it clamps down. So it works out perfectly. So all I did was I sacrificed this by cutting it, and it'll still work pretty much for everything I needed to. And then look how nice this is. So when I start shaping the pins, oh, I forgot the actual, so when I start shaping the pins, you can see I also had to go on COK Locks and buy about 100 of these bottom pins. So I'll put this in here. And if you can see, like I put the bare minimum I could possibly put in there. So like barely anything. But now it gives me the most to work on. Look how much room I can work. So I can work on half of this and I'll flip it around and work on the other half. But it gives me the most to work on. So now basically I turned it into a lathe. So I'm going to, and again, you could really tighten this up if you want, but I found that I just tighten it by hand and I really have not had any problems. So I've already made some serrated and I haven't really went on anything from there. So now I'm just going to bring this high enough so it stays still. I'm just gonna put it in a clamp and let it fall down on top of some support beams and just close it up a little. I don't want to damage the Dremel or cause it to, so like that's the biggest thing, is obviously don't clamp it so much. So just enough where it doesn't move. And now I'll be able to film me shaping this. And then what I did was this, so this kit cost like $10 and this cost about $10. This is a jeweler saw, so really thin, tiny cuts. So that's really good. So I'm gonna use these, and then I bought little files, so these will help me shape it as well. So we'll see how it goes, but it's pretty much, to be honest with you, because I'm looking for edges, I probably won't use any of these. I'll probably just use ones that have edges. So I bet you anything that I'll probably only use these. So again, like basic, I sit here and just push. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make serrated, and then I'm going to make a serrated spool, and then maybe a barrel, maybe a double barrel, or maybe a mushroom. So we'll see what I come up with. But I'm going to shape 5 of them for my challenge lock, and then you have to talk about undermill and overmill, and that's later. But anyway, I'm going to cut to just making them now. But that kind of gives you my setup, and you can see I've already done some of it. Actually, I already made a serrated. My biggest problem is when I was doing this, I actually put the serrated too close to each other, and it just made it not look good. And then I heard people say that finishing it is important too. So what I did was I have this little guy. And it's kind of like a smooth guy. So now what I do is once I get done with serrated, I just lightly touch this while it's running, and then I just take this and push against it while it's running. And it shines it up nice, takes the little burrs off. And so far, I made one serrated, but I'm gonna remake the serrated and videotape it. And then again, I got this bag of pins. This is actually springs. These are all the top pins. And the 200 size, the number 2s, for the slog actually seem to be very close to what was already in here. So I have a picture of what was already in here. I'm going to do some photo editing and put it in there. So now the rest of this is just going to be kind of cutting out the sound and just shaping these and seeing how it turns out. So of course safety is important. I have safety glasses so that way I don't get any chips in my house in case I mess anything up. And that's about it. So now I'm going to work on my first serrated. So I'm going to plug this in and start working it. What I'll do is I'll zoom in on my actual work. Okay. And we'll see how it goes. Alright, so there you can see, I mean, it looks pretty good. And again, I'm gonna unplug it real quick. You don't have to if you're really not worried about it, but hey, wouldn't be a very good safety person. So now I'm just gonna flip it to the other side. And again, that's probably enough for the serrated, but why not serrate all the way up? It'll work on my ability to. So that does not look like it's straight, as you can see. And now I'm not undoing it, so you can see. Looks like I have enough room for one more. Alright. So there's my first pin. And again, you see how I said it looks kind of too tight on this side. So I might trash this. Not very good spacing. Let's get that in view. Man, it's hard to say. Not great. So I'll redo this one. Alright, here's attempt 2 on a little bit better challenge lock. Okay. Attempt 2. So let's try to make this serrated a little bit more uniform. And again, maybe just don't worry about the top because the top isn't going to be used anyway. You know what though, but I really do need to get better at the other side because I'm going to eventually make spools. So maybe it matters. Alright, let's try. That's nice. That looks pretty. See if you can focus on it. Can't really focus on it. There we go. Gives you an idea of what to work with. I mean, that looks pretty good. So let's take this out. Flip it over. I mean, I like the spacing on that. That looks pretty. So let's put it on the other side and see if I can repeat it. Okay. See how it looks. Pull it out a little bit so you can kind of see. It isn't terrible. Just take a look at it. I mean, that's not bad. I'll take that. Alright, so that's my first serrated. Okay, let's move on to doing a spool. Put that over here on the one on the right. And now let's try a spool. Oops. Okay, so I did 2 cuts on this side. So now I'm going to try to do the same on the other side. And then I'm going to cut the in-between. Okay, you can still see that in the camera. Now, we're trying to cut the in-between out. So I'm going to get a file and try to get the in-between out. So let's put this back in as far as we can reach. Let's see how we do. That's not far enough. Nope, you see that wobble? Definitely not gonna work like that. That looks a little straighter. So now again, I want this to be serrated, so I want to cut out just that portion right there at the very, very edge of it. Oh, let's see how that looks. I mean, it's not perfect, but it definitely has that spool-like quality I'm looking for. It's serrated, and it's kind of got that center. So let me look a little closer off the camera. I mean, I think I can cut a little bit closer on the one side. That looks now. It's not the smoothest, but it's definitely looks decent, like a serrated spool. I'm happy with that. Definitely could get better. Got a little notch, but you know, I'll give it extra play. But I'm going to call that serrated spool. Alright, let's put that there. Serrated spool. Alright, so now the next thing I'm going to do is make myself maybe a barrel. So I'll just cut off each end. I'll make a barrel one. That's one side. That's not bad. Definitely got an edge to it. Good edge to it. Let's try the other side. It's definitely got an edge to it. I think I might need more, so I'll make more of an edge on the other side and flip it. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it now. The other side. Got a nice little edge to it. Okay, let's do the other side. A little taper. I'll try to make it less tapered on this side. Okay. Definitely a smaller edge on the back one. Let's clean it up. It's not as even as I like it, but it's not as terrible. You can put it this side down and leave the other side up. Yeah, definitely not as clean as I like it, but I mean, it's still good. Alright, now let's do, what else should we do? We'll do maybe attempt at a gin. Christmas tree I think might be out of my scope, but let's just try what we can put on a bottle of one. Okay, I mean, not terrible. That little edge. Not bad. Okay, so I got a barrel. Maybe I'll make a trampoline pin. Let's make a trampoline pin. That'll be my 5th one. Alright, we'll try a trampoline now. Almost looks like a double spool. Almost looks like a double spool. And that's just what we'll call it, a double spool. Alright, so this is a picture of my final finished product. If you look at the top, you have the key pins. Those are going to stay the same. The middle row, you can see the original driver pins. So I'm going to send that with a lock, so that way people can actually knock out an 8345 if they'd like. And then finally, all the pins that I created, all the top pins, or the driver pins, if you would. Those are all right there in that lineup. And then finally, you have the etching of my name on the lock. So I just wanted to kind of throw a little warning out. So when I put all this back together, if you look at the fourth pin there, I actually I wouldn't say bricked it because I was able to fix it. I had to take a rubber mallet and kind of use some inertia by hitting it to get the pin to come out of the little hole that's in the actual core. So if you look in the fourth pin position, do not, if you use this in the future, put anything besides a standard diameter pin in there. So I had a gin pin in there, and the gin pin fell right into there. So kind of a quarter turn in, it just got locked up. So don't make the same mistake I did and make sure there's a full pin. So a spool or serrated would be fine in there. Trampoline, just something with the diameter on the bottom being completely the same size of the pin so it doesn't fall in. All right, so just to show you, that's all done. I got my 5 unique pins in here. I got my etching, so that's 6 alterations. The key does work, but I will mention that if it's up at all, the key doesn't really work, but you push it down just a little bit and the key rotates no problem. So if you stick the key in for the first time, you're already happen to be pushing down, it opens easily. But don't think, oh, it doesn't work. You just got to push down a little bit and turn, no problem. Okay, and then finally, you have, these are the original, serrated pin and number 1 serrated, but it looks more like a stand, it only has 2 serrations. And then that will make it the original. You got extra top pins, about 80 left in here, so extra people, you can pass it on. And then just a baggie to take mine out and put it in there, and then you can send it along to the next challenge person. And that's it.